Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're kind of moving past the usual talk about the latest apps, the flagship gadgets that are all supposed to organize our lives.
Hmm.
Instead, we're on a mission to analyze something a little different. A stack of sources focused on 5 simple, everyday objects.
And many of them are analog, not digital at all.
Exactly. Things that are absolute essentials for just, maintaining focus and well-being day to day.
It's a really interesting exploration into, I guess, functional minimalism.
Yeah.
We're not just looking at objects for what they do, their basic utility.
Right.
We're looking at them as psychological anchors. The goal is to uncover the routines and the boundaries these things help us create that keep us grounded in a world that's just, well, it's chaotic and saturated with information.
So the big question we're asking is, what truly makes an object essential to you?
Yeah, beyond its simple, practical purpose.
Exactly. And the sources suggest that the things with the most power are often the quiet ones. They fly completely under the radar. Okay, so let's unpack this with the first essential. It acts as the cornerstone of the day,
The morning act.
the morning anchor, and it's identified as a simple physical notebook and a pen.
I find this fascinating right off the bat, because it represents a conscious choice. It's about intentionality, not reactivity.
What do you mean by that?
Well, for most people, the essential morning object is their phone, right? It's the alarm clock, the news, the email. It's everything, all at once.
Mm-hmm.
So prioritizing a notebook first, that means you're prioritizing yourself.
The ritual seems to be the key thing here. The instruction is to sit down before you even touch your phone, before the digital world just, crashes in.
Right.
And you engage in this really structured analog exercise. It starts with writing 3 things you're grateful for, and then you map out the day. You plan it all out on paper.
Okay, so let's define why this analog choice is such a powerful tool psychologically. It's all about cognitive stability.
Cognitive stability.
Yeah, the notebook gives you a predictable, non-reactive space.
Yeah.
The morning is always chaotic, right?
Mm.
But this isn't. An object that is physically incapable of giving you a notification, well, that creates a boundary.
It protects those first few moments of focus.
It does. It's not like a ship's anchor in water. It's a cognitive anchor. It makes sure your thoughts start from gratitude and intention, not immediate digital defense.
But hold on, let me just push back on that a little. Is that realistic in, 2024? If you have critical emails piling up, isn't writing in a notebook just managing the anxiety of not checking?
That's a really sharp distinction. And maybe, at first, its main function is anxiety management.
Okay.
But the habit shifts pretty quickly. The reason this routine actually sticks is backed up by research. The physical act of handwriting improves memory retention way better than typing.
So there's a real difference in how the brain processes it.
A huge difference. It's about motor engagement. When you type, your motions are simple, repetitive. But when you write by hand, you're using fine motor skills, spatial processing.
So the brain is actively building a physical memory of the to-do list. It's not just, replicating text on a screen.
Precisely. That physical connection anchors the information and the intentions that go with it far better than digital input can.
I see.
So if you look at the big picture, the notebook isn't just about writing tasks. It's a commitment device. You are physically signing off on your intentions for the day before you let the outside world dictate your focus.
It ensures that the first voice you hear is your own.
Not your boss's, not a news alert, yours.
Okay, so once we've anchored our minds with the notebook, the next challenge is defending that focus, right, against all the noise of the external world, which tries to break in almost immediately. And this brings us to our next essential, which is a true defensive tool: noise-canceling headphones.
The sources call them the Sanity saver.
Yeah.
And that term is just perfect. It suggests they're actively preventing the stress that comes from, auditory overload.
Yeah.
For anyone working remotely or just living in a city, noise is a serious mental pollutant.
Oh, absolutely. They're a necessary barrier against, well, everything. Construction outside, traffic, even just chaos in the house. The dependence on them is high. One person noted they feel genuine stress when they forget them at home.
And that intense reaction, the fact that you feel stressed when they're missing, that speaks volumes about their psychological function.
How do they actually work?
They use something called active noise cancellation, or ANC. It's actually a pretty elegant bit of tech. They have these tiny microphones that pick up the ambient sounds around you.
Oh, okay.
And then the headphones generate a reverse sound wave, a mirror image, that cancels out the incoming noise before it even reaches your ear.
So it's not just passive muffling like earplugs. It's active defense.
Correct. And that explains the intensity of the barrier. But even more critical than the tech is the psychological signal it sends.
A signal.
Putting those headphones on is a potent, immediate cognitive trigger. It tells your brain the physical environment has changed. It is now time to focus.
It's like a deliberate ritual of self-isolation.
For productive output, yes.
Right.
And that focus trigger is so powerful. What's also fascinating is that they aren't always used for, listening to music or podcasts.
Right.
A lot of the time, they're just worn for the silence, to create a literal bubble of peace.
We talk a lot about visual boundaries like closing a door, but auditory boundaries are just as vital.
They are. These headphones are basically a mobile sanctuary. They let you mentally check out just enough so you can stay checked into your work.
And their use extends beyond work, too.
It does. They transition into a tool for winding down in the evening. You can use them for ambient sounds, like rain or ocean waves, to help your brain switch off from the day so they manage both focus and relaxation.
So they set up these high alert boundaries during the day and then help you create restorative boundaries at night. That dual function is what makes them so essential.
Exactly.
So let's move into that third phase of the day, rituals for rest. This brings us to object number 3, the weighted blanket.
This is a perfect link because we've gone from focusing the mind with a notebook and protecting that focus with the headphones to now physically signaling the body that it's time to shut down and recover.
And their popularity has just surged in the last few years.
It really has.
The experience is what makes it essential. It's a heavy blanket, say 15 pounds, and it's designed to provide this gentle, deep pressure evenly across your body. The simplest description for it is that it feels like a warm hug.
And that hug sensation isn't just, cozy. It's a physiological mechanism. Sure. It's called deep pressure touch stimulation, or DPTS.
Okay, what does that do?
Well, when you apply that firm, gentle pressure to the body, it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. That's your rest and digest system.
Right.
And it counteracts the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response that's been running hot all day from screens and mental work.
So it's a physical intervention that basically tricks your body into calming down.
Exactly. The DPTS helps your body naturally increase production of serotonin, the feel-good neurotransmitter, and then eventually melatonin, which, controls your sleep cycles.
So it becomes this necessary non-digital ritual at the end of the day.
It does. You wrap up in it, and it signals to your body, the work is done, it's time to recover.
It really highlights how our essentials are often about recovery, not just productivity. And quality sleep is foundational for everything: mood, cognitive function, long-term health.
And the user's experience is so telling. They say they immediately notice the difference when they travel without it.
Yeah.
That absence reveals the object has become a non-negotiable part of their restorative process.
It's a physical scaffold for a fundamental need.
It is. If your brain is struggling to switch gears, the blanket sort of forces the switch physically.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. Let's look at the final 2 essentials. We're calling them the unsung heroes.
Right. The things that are so important, but we often overlook them because they're just so simple.
We have the utilitarian and the emotional standing side by side.
2 very different definitions of essential.
Let's start with the practical hero. Object number 4, a good water bottle.
Okay, on the surface, it's just a container. Where's the deep dive in a water bottle?
This is where it gets really interesting. Its power is completely tied to habit formation. The benefit is staying hydrated. Yes, that affects energy, focus, all of that. But the essential quality of the bottle is that it's a constant, tangible visual cue.
So we're talking about behavioral triggers here, like the fog behavior model.
Exactly.
Simple behaviors are driven by prompts. So a good water bottle isn't just for carrying water, it's a physical, ever-present prompt. If it's within arm's reach, if you can see it, you're so much more likely to actually drink.
Without that constant visual reminder, that object sitting right there, the hydration habit just drops off immediately. It's an essential item that drives an essential biological process just by being there. And the design matters too. If it's easy to drink from, keeps the temperature right, the friction for doing the habit drops to almost zero.
So the value isn't the plastic or the metal. It's the consistent, low-friction behavioral prompt it provides all day.
Right.
And we can't ignore the broader context either. Using a good, reusable bottle also connects this simple essential to sustainability. So it supports your personal health and, planetary health at the same time.
Which just adds another layer of value. That brings us to our final essential, which might be the most powerful example of how value can be completely detached from utility.
Yes.
It's a specific coffee mug.
And this is where we cross that final boundary into pure meaning and psychological sustenance.
The source material describes it as a simple ceramic mug, nothing flashy, nothing expensive. But here's the key detail. It was a gift from a deceased grandmother.
Ah.
It's described as the user's most treasured possession.
This really raises a vital question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What is the highest form of essential? Is it about survival, or is it about maintaining our emotional and psychological health?
I mean, any mug can hold coffee.
Any mug could do that.
Mhm.
Its value comes entirely from the emotional connection, the memory it holds. It's a vessel of narrative.
The daily ritual of using it for morning coffee or whatever, it forces a moment of reflection. It's a reminder to slow down, be present, remember the people you love.
If you contrast it with the water bottle provides life through hydration. The mug provides life through memory and connection. It's an emotional anchor.
Right.
Its existential value is just, it's so much greater than its practical function. In all the noise of modern life, choosing a specific, treasured object for a daily routine is a deliberate act of mindfulness. It grounds you in your own history.
That distinction, utility versus connection, that perfectly summarizes the whole list.
It does.
We've gone from the analog focus of the notebook to the auditory sanctuary of the headphones, the recovery tool of the weighted blanket, the unsung hydration hero.
And finally, the ultimate emotional anchor in the coffee mug.
So if we synthesize the core takeaway for you listening, the message is pretty clear.
The items that are truly essential are rarely the cutting-edge gadgets. They're the tools, often physical, often analog, that help you establish predictable boundaries and powerful routines in a chaotic world.
They're the scaffolding that keeps us connected
To ourselves, to our health, our intentions, and our memories.
The power of these 5 things is that they aren't reactive. They're proactive. They let you dictate the pace of your day and the quality of your rest.
So, as you reflect on your own essential routines, here's a provocative thought to consider. If an object's main function is to act as a psychological signal or anchor, what happens when your most relied upon physical objects become digitized or disappear entirely?
Does the effectiveness of a calming ritual like the notebook or the blanket depend on the object being physical, being analog?
Summing them all over.
We encourage you to look closely at your own essentials and dive deep into their real purpose. Thank you for joining us for the deep dive.
We'll catch you next time.